Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session on the tutorials about Amibroker. So before we get started with today's session, did you know that Amibroker has a very wide community support? It boasts a strong and active user community. Traders can exchange ideas, share strategies, and seek assistance through online forums, user groups, and third-party resources dedicated to Amibroker. So let's get started from where we had left in the previous session. I have the Bank Nifty and the Sensex charts here available. So in today's session, let's see briefly about how the AFL code for this looks like. So let's jump directly into the AFL code for this. The first thing I need to do is right click on the chart and go to the edit formula option. So when I click on this, I will get a window. This is the AFL formula editor. We will go through the different sections available in this window. So you can see the code snippets part and you can see some of the options available here. We will go through in brief one by one into this. The first one that I see here is price23.afl. This is the file name of the AFL which is being used for the chart which you see at the background. So just to go hand in hand, I will use a split screen mode here so that you can dynamically see what is happening in the chart when we modify anything here. The price23.afl was the AFL file which got created when we drag dropped the price chart onto this particular window. So you can see there are different options available in this code. Don't worry too much about how or where we will find all these functions. We will see that in detail in the coming sessions. But for now, whatever functions are being used here, let's try to modify that and see what impact it will have on the chart. Here you can see a section begin and a section end placeholders. This is mainly used to encapsulate a piece of code which can be used together as a code snippet which does a particular operation. For example, if I go back to this particular window and I add, let's say, EMA to this chart, it would mention that this particular file is modified. I'll tell you how it would have modified. We'll go to that next. I'll first say yes and keep the default settings as it is here and click on OK. So you can see the EMA part appearing here. Now if I go back to the AFL code, you can see that automatically the EMA part of the code has also got added into price23.afl. This is what it gave as a pop-up when I drag dropped the EMA indicator onto the chart. Each of the sections that are present here will be eventually a piece of code which would just get added into the chart whenever we drag drop them into the chart. So here you can see the EMA field has got added. Now let's see what happens when I delete that indicator. As we had seen in the previous sessions, you can go to delete indicator and click on this. It asks whether you want to delete. Sure, I say yes. Again, it will say that this particular file has been modified outside. Do you want to reload? I would say yes. And if I go back to the editor again, you can see this, the part of EMA code which it had added has been removed. So Amibroker automatically takes care of adding in code or removing it based on the way we add the different indicators or different sections into the chart. Now you see the reason why we had the section begin and the section end. When we added the EMA section, it had a section called EMA. Here this price section corresponds to the indicator name that you see here. Now let's go back to our AFL code. So here you can see different options available, set chart options. I can disable one of these options here. For example, if I delete this and save, it would first ask me, because this, as you can see in the path here, it has created this file under the drag drop folder. So since now I will be modifying this manually, it would ask me whether I need to move it into the main code section. I can say yes to that. So when I save this, See, it has say that it was saved in a hidden drag drop folder. Now do you want to move it to the custom folder? I would say yes. Now you can see in the path that it has moved from drag drop folder to custom folder. So I can do these modifications and move the code to a different section. So by default, whatever gets added by Amibroker on its own would go into the drag drop folder, which is a hidden folder. The ones which will be manually modified will automatically move into the custom folder. So I did some modifications and saved it, and you can see that it moved to a different path. Let's revert that again. Now, I had mentioned that this was the title that comes in, right? By default, when I use the price chart, that was because it is being mentioned that way here. So the name, the interval, date, and the open, high, low, close values are being printed here, right? As an example, let's say if I don't want the interval to be shown, I would just delete this particular section, and here you can see the time frame, right? So when I save this particular AFL file, you can see that the time frame information is no more present. So that is because as soon as I updated the AFL, that particular section got removed. Let's revert that again and save it so that this comes back again. Coming to the plot. So the candlestick that have got plotted is because of this function. So let's modify the plot function to see what it plots. Here there is a section called as param style. This is directly being taken from the parameters section here. So there are different kinds of sections available here, which if I tick will be taken automatically by the AFL here. This is a param that it takes automatically. Now instead of this, let's say if I want to hard code it as a style as bar, okay, and I save it, you can see that the candlesticks got changed from candle to bar. This is how we will be able to change this. So there are different options available here. For example, instead of style bar, I would take a style bar no ticks. If I change to this and save it, you can see that the open and the close ticks which were appearing on the bars have disappeared. So this is how we will be able to change anything on the chart. Let me revert to the original code that we had. So you can see the candlesticks appearing again here. Just to give a brief introduction about how the AFL code would look like. Now let's add another indicator again here. For example, let's take the simple moving average. So as usual, this gives me a pop-up saying that the file has been modified, and I change this and I can select the different parameters here. You can see the price field, periods, color and style being shown here. So let's keep this by default and say OK. And now if I go back to the AFL code, you can see that the moving average section has got added. And now when we look at the parameters here, right, let's keep this on one side, and if we go to the AFL code here, you can see the different fields that are appearing here matches with this. Okay, so in the price section, this is the price section which is appearing. In this, I have two different types of parameters here. One is param color and the other one is for param style. The name that I have used for them is color and style. Here you can see the name appearing as color and style. And in the next section, for the moving average, I can see the param field 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I can see 4 different parameters being set, which is for the param field was for the price field. Here you can see that, and then the params periods you can see here, and then the color and the style which was appearing in the price chart, the same way they are appearing here as well. What this function does is whatever I modify in the parameters section here, right, that will be automatically taken here into this AFL field. For example, here this is set as 15 for the default value, right? But to give you some information about how this function works, this starts from 2 and can take values up to 300. This is how the code works. Now, if I see here, right, I can change the value from 2 till 300. If I give any other value apart from this, see, you can see here I type 500, but when I selected it, it automatically went back to 300 because that is the maximum it can take. It cannot take beyond 300. Same way, if I try to give the value as 1, it will take the least value that was available, which is 2. So this is how the functions work, and you can set the range for any parameter that is required, and once you set it in your formula, the parameters also will be considered accordingly. So this is how you will be able to add a small piece of code by just drag dropping in different sections into the chart, and automatically it would appear in your AFL code. And when you do any particular modifications manually in your AFL, it will move from the hidden folder to the custom folder, and then whenever you are modifying anything there, it will automatically change the path from the hidden drag drop folder to the custom folder, and then allows you to manually modify it. And when you modify anything in your AFL file, we saw that how it gets reflected in the chart. So in today's session, we covered the basics about how you would modify the AFL file, and we also saw how modifying the AFL file in a small way modifies the view in the chart, and how we will be able to add different sections into the code automatically by drag dropping few of the sections from the charts pane into the actual chart. In the coming videos, we will learn more about different AFL functions that are available and how we can make use of them in backtesting, or it could be in live trading, or it could be for exploration purposes. How we will be able to make use of the different functions, let's see in the upcoming sections. So stay tuned for more in-depth tutorials as we go on digging into the additional features and capabilities that this powerful platform has for offer. So don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our Amibroker series. Happy coding!